Hey guys, welcome to another video. And in this video, I wanted to talk about how if you're trying to go viral, don't. The reason I say this is because I've been there where I've seen something trending on Instagram or TikTok and I've made a video on it and that video hasn't popped off like I would have hoped. And I've done this numerous times. And the main thing that I've noticed from this is I end up getting frustrated because I'll start to feel like, oh, well, this is my chance to go viral and get a ton of followers and become this influencer that has these brand deals and never has to work again and all of a sudden owns, the coolest shoes and clothes and all these things. And in my mind, that's what I'm thinking behind, when I'm making these videos. I'm thinking about, oh, well, this will be that video. This will be my big break. This will be that moment where I go viral. My life is never the same. But the problem is when you're making videos based on trends and you're hoping to go viral, it's like, well, what if you don't go viral? Or what if you do go viral and then you have your 10 seconds of fame and then that's over. And then every other video that you post doesn't go viral. And so you end up being in this weird mind state where you're constantly looking for the validation of other people. And you get into this headspace where you don't think that anything you post is good enough unless it goes viral or unless it gets a certain number of views or unless you get a certain number of followers from it. And you start to not appreciate the few people that might see your post and really get something from it. And it ends up being so dangerous because this is why a lot of people stop creating content because they start to lose hope after maybe they've tried to go after a couple trends and things didn't go the way they thought it would go. But the other reason that it's really dangerous is you start to lose yourself chasing views and likes and followers. You start to lose yourself chasing validation from others. So what happens when you start getting some negative comments on posts? Now, instead of being reassured, instead of being confident in the content that you're making because it represents you, now you're making content that doesn't represent you. You're chasing something that really isn't you. And then you end up getting frustrated when people either call you out on this or when people don't like your content. Because ultimately, when people try to chase trends and chase these things, it's coming from a place of insecurity. It's coming from a place of, oh, I don't know if I could go viral myself based on me just being myself and who I am. I feel like I need to be this persona, or I feel like I need to, have a video that's structured this type of way, or I need to talk like this. And when people end up chasing this thing and they don't accomplish what they hope they would have accomplished, they end up being almost disillusioned to the point where it's like they don't know who they are anymore. They don't even know why they're making content. And this is why when you have a strong why behind why you're making content, when you know that, okay, this is who you are, this is the kind of structure that you want to create in terms of the content, now you're not worried about going viral. You're not worried about, the views that you're getting because you know that it might come in the future, but it also might not. And this is why even when it comes to certain artists, it gets easy to listen to a song and go, man, this sounds like a TikTok song. This sounds like they just wanted a certain part of this song to go viral or whatever. And it sounds like they're not making authentic music anymore. And whenever you hear songs like this, or you feel like artists are starting to go down this path, you almost feel like you don't know them personally anymore. And when artists start to lose that personal touch, it becomes harder to relate to them, or it becomes harder to relate to the music because when it comes to whether you're an influencer or you're an artist or a performer, oftentimes what makes or breaks your career is people feeling like they can relate to you. And once people feel like someone is trying to morph themselves into this person that can essentially just get a lot of views or get a lot of streams for the sake of it and they're starting to move away from the art of making music, that's where things can get really difficult. Because even though, for example, I haven't listened to Taylor Swift like that in a while, but this was why she came under so much fire, because her last album, this is why, she released so many versions of it. It seemed like she was just trying to chase numbers and she was trying to chase streams. And because of that, it becomes hard for a fan to relate to that when they feel like the quality of the music isn't necessarily there, but then there's just this overemphasis on numbers and streams. And I had to realize this as a content creator. I had to realize that there's more important things in life than just chasing streams or than trying to go viral all the time. Eventually, you get to a point where you have to have more focus on the quality of your content and the type of content that you're putting out. Because whether content goes viral or not, it's important to understand that the content you're making could impact one person. And even if it's that video or whatever that impacts one person, it's better than a generic piece of content that goes viral but doesn't do anything for anybody, doesn't move the needle in any way, shape, or form. And that's why I think you're starting to see a lot more artists that are starting to blow up when they're just being themselves. You almost look at someone like Billie Eilish, or you look at someone like Russ, or you look at someone like Forrest Frank. These are people that, started to blow up over time just by being themselves. And it wasn't an overnight thing. For sure, it took some time. But what I've had to realize creating content, what I hope that you guys realize if you're creating content, it's better to go viral or to have success over time than to have it all at once because you're going viral and chasing a specific aesthetic or a specific thing that doesn't align with the kind of content you want to create, but just because you think it'll please the algorithm. It's much better to make the content that you feel good about, that you're secure in, and if it goes viral, great. If it doesn't go viral, that's great too. But especially in this day and age with AI, it's so important that you maintain that sense of originality, that thing that makes you unique. Because ultimately, when you look at how many pieces of content get created every single day, you have to ask yourself, am I being myself? And is that going to differentiate me in a world where people are just chasing trends, constantly trying to go viral? And when you know that you're making content for yourself and content that you appreciate and content that you enjoy, now you remove some of that stress and some of that pressure from yourself to go viral. And you operate from a mindset of abundance instead of from a mindset of scarcity. Because when you operate from a mindset of scarcity and fear, you're going to quit before you even know if you would have popped off or not. But when you're operating from a mindset of abundance and you're making content that you feel good about and content that you enjoy making, now you end up being in this headspace where if you go viral, that's cool. But if you don't go viral, that's cool too. And because of that, I've had to make that shift. And so I wanted to make this video for any of you guys that are trying to go viral, or even any of you guys that are starting or thinking about starting to create content, because I want you guys to be in a good headspace when you're creating content. Because trying to go viral can be super exhausting, and when you don't go viral, it can lead to burnout. And so if you guys are working or dealing with burnout right now, I actually wrote an ebook called From Burnout to Blessings. And essentially, I wanted to write this for anyone struggling with this because it's something that I struggled with, working for a little over a year and just not taking any vacation. And so I hope that, you guys check out the ebook. I hope that it blesses you guys. And if you guys stayed for this entire video, I really appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And share this also with anybody that you guys think would benefit from this. And I'll talk to all of you guys in the next video.